What is going on, guys? It's Man. Today I'm going to be ranking every WoW expansion that's been released and give you guys my honest opinion and the tier list. So first off, we have Vanilla WoW. This is an S tier automatically. I like how amazing it was in the first place, and because guys, I just love the leveling, the dungeons. I know lots of people know that the dungeons weren't as good and they were like really big, such as even like Blackrock Depths, which was pretty much a raid. Because it could take 3 hours to clear Blackrock Depths or even Blackrock Spire. Either one. Now, I personally didn't like them. Now, the only thing I didn't like about Vanilla WoW was because I'm gonna give cons as well, is that the leveling was so slow. It could take you a long time, like even probably half a year to reach level 70. I mean 60. Sorry. And yeah, it's just the leveling was slow, but that's just it. New, it's just a really good expansion in my opinion, and the attunements actually made it feel like you did something better than rather than how in the current version, where you basically can just enter a raid without any experience. Moving on to Burning Crusade. Burning Crusade was such a good expansion and still is even a good classic expansion too. It was really good, and it's really amazing. And people are gonna be confused. People are probably gonna be mad at me because I'm not putting this in the S tier. Now, while Burning Crusade was really good and fun to level in, they made leveling faster, of course. But the thing was that it was still felt slow once you got to 60, because it got so slow. Like every quest you return, it will only get you 2%, give you like 2% XP. But even that little 2% XP was pretty good. Good. I would say, excuse me, sir. I would say, guys, the main thing that like, really gave me the drawbacks besides leveling was just the amount of rep grinds you had to do. You want to do a heroic dungeon, grind rep. You want to do a raid, grind rep. Raid, but the attunement requires rep. You gotta grind it. It was almost, and you want this cool recipe, grind rep. It was almost everything was a rep grind. It was so annoying. So this landed a spot in the A tier. I would put it in the S tier. Well, it's actually just high A tier, low S. So it was not that great. Moving on to Wrath of Lich King. Wrath of Lich King was one of the best expansions. I think it was like the top. It was actually the top expansion that World of Warcraft has ever made. And people loved it so much. I personally loved it because of Icecrown Citadel. Being of defeating the Lich King, and I love the Lich King so much. I'm a big fan of him, and I love the other raids. Ulduar, I like Ulduar, and or Archimon or whatever. I forgot what it's called. Oh, but just looking at Wintergrasp, it's really fun, and I think the classic version will be fun as well. So this is an S tier here. It's really good. Moving on to Cataclysm. Now this is where WoW started to fall all the way downhill. I really know this because Cataclysm wasn't too much of wasn't so much a great expansion, because all it was just a ton of revamps. I didn't really like it so much. I just wish that Blizzard didn't like do more revamping. The reason why they did a lot of revamping was because lots of zones weren't finished in vanilla, such as like if you guys know the Barons for Horde in Classic, they really weren't able to finish that. So that is one thing. And then they really did a remake on it, a revamp on it, so the Barons got what deserved. So they only raised the level cap by like 5, and it wasn't really that great. Plus the raids back there were not good. All in all, it was still a good expansion. I just wish Blizzard added some more content, way more content rather than revamp. So this lands at a spot in the low B and the B tier. Low, yeah, it's actually, yeah, just a low B tier. Now it would actually go in the F tier, but it's still pretty good expansion. I would say it's low B, high B tier, low A. Actually, high C tier, low B tier. It's really not that great in my opinion. Moving on to Mists Pandaria. This expansion, all in all, was a good expansion. And however, it was just more of just pandas, and it started to feel like a Kung Fu Panda game. And the cap was raised by 5 to 90. I was just so annoyed that how Mr. Pandaria was just a ton of just like all classes were overpowered. I didn't like it so much. So and there were lots of CC chains, and there was even an ability monks had called dematerialize, which made them, which when they were got stunned, if they used it, they would basically be invulnerable for 2 seconds, which I think is really broken. But I think it's a good expansion because the raids were nice and the amounts were great. So I think it's a high B, low B tier, high C tier. Moving on to Warlords. Now this was one of the worst expansions in the WoW's history. In my opinion, I personally did not like how it turned out so much. Because, guys, just Blizzard did player housing, tried to do player housing with garrisons, but they were heavily disliked. I didn't really like garrisons at all either. And in my opinion, I just really wish they didn't do that. And I think this is when they added the M Plus system. Maybe that was Legion, I forget. But Mythic Plus was the worst thing they added. So this lands a spot in the F tier. It's really bad. I really hate it. Move Moving on to Legion. Legion was sort of like Burning Crusade. However, Blizzard tried to do that because they saw really a big decline in subscriber numbers. But I really didn't. But the whole reason I think was because they tried player housing and that was never came and that didn't work out. So they're not probably gonna try it again. But Legion was just another version of Burning Crusade. Here where you find the Burning Legion. However, Legion had a little bit more added some new races and stuff, but it really wasn't too much fun. I didn't really like how flying was hard to acquire, but it was still pretty good. And plus, the content was great, so that's landed a spot in the high D tier, low C tier. Moving on to BFA. BFA was actually it was a little bit better than Warlords, but BFA was so bad. They added new races, and they didn't even do anything so much. They added like the Zandalari, which no one really wanted to see that. It really wasn't great, so I really didn't, and I didn't like it at all either. I played through it, guys. It sucked. So this landed a spot in the high F tier, low D tier, because Warlords I think was by far the worst expansion WoW has ever released. Moving on, and finally, the last expansion, the one we're currently on right now on the entire list is Shadowlands. So Shadowlands, I'm gonna give you guys something I liked about Shadowlands. I liked how they could really remove all the rep grinds of the game. They gave you Draenor flying and Legion flying, which was great because I personally didn't like it. Like having to grind it out. I would have never grinded it out. I would just play the Shadowlands expansion, not go to the other two zones. But what I really didn't like about it was that the raid content, the raid content was actually really good. And it was liked by the community a lot. What I mainly actually didn't like about Shadowlands was that the Covenants and the AP system, by the way, that was in Legion and in BFA, I forgot to mention those, the AP system, Azurite power, Anima power, Artifact power, and I think there's going to be a new one in Dragonflight, but we don't have that because that's not even out yet. So I feel that this expansion was better than these three, and even better than Cataclysm, so I would say it lands a spot in the low B tier, high C tier. It really wasn't too good, and the raid content wasn't that great. I personally, guys, I did like Sanctum of Domination, and that wasn't too much fun. I did even stuff like a Castle Nathria, which was pretty fun, but I'd say just Blizzard just really kind of tried their best. They did better. I'd say they did better with Shadowlands than they did with BFA. So this is my whole tier list. As you can see, we have, if you skip to this point, if you just were like, I want to see the complete tier list, we have Vanilla top tier. We have Wrath of the Lich King in second. We have Burning Crusade. The only one in this tier. We have in the A tier. We have Mr. Pandaria in the high B tier, low C low A tier. We have Shadowlands in the low B tier, high C tier. We have Cataclysm in the high C tier, low B tier. We have Legion in the high D, low C tier. And last we have the F tier, which is Warlords, way down there, which is trash, which means basically just it was garbage. And we have BFA, which was high F tier, low D tier. So you can see how much I didn't like these two expansions the most, opposed to how much I love Wrath of the Lich King and Vanilla. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you liked any of the expansions. I know lots of my viewers don't play WoW, but if I play, would you guys be interested in me showing you how Wrath was going? I would love to. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.